They walk for 14 years to reach the far side of the world, and at the end of it, they open the scrolls they were sent for. Every page is blank, not faded, not damaged, blank paper, bound and sealed, handed over by the Buddha's own attendants. They go back and complain, and what they are told is stranger than a mistake. The blank ones were the real scriptures. The people back east are too deluded to read them, so here, have the version with words in it instead. That is how one of the 4 great novels of China ends, and almost nobody who loves its hero has read that page, because the hero got loose. He is on lunchboxes and in video games, and he has working temples with incense burning in them. A monkey hatched out of a rock, who fought the armies of heaven to a standstill and then lost a bet over a bathroom joke. His name is Sun Wukong. The book is Journey to the West, and the most important fact about him is the one dropped first, every time. He is a character in a novel. Printed in 1592 in Nanjing, with no author's name anywhere on it. He is not an ancient god who happened to get written down later. That is what the internet believes, and it is backwards. There are 3 separate things tangled together here, and this video keeps them apart. 1. A novel, 4 centuries old. 2. A real man. A Tang Dynasty monk who genuinely made that walk and came home and wrote his own account of it. There is no monkey in that account. Not a line, not a hint. Roads, distances, rulers, and monasteries. 3. A living religion, shrines, festivals, a birthday on the calendar, mostly in Fujian, Taiwan, and Southeast Asia. A book, a biography, a cult. Blend them and you get nonsense. So here is the whole story, with the layer named every time. Start with the claim, because it is everywhere. The Monkey King is an ancient Chinese god, thousands of years old, a contemporary of Gilgamesh. And, in the same breath, that he was lifted wholesale from Hanuman, the monkey god of the Indian epics. 2 claims. Only one is even arguable. The first is simply false. No source from anywhere near that age names him. The name Sun Wukong is not written down until the 16th century. The Hanuman question is real. In 1923, Xiyouji wrote that he had always suspected this magic monkey was not a domestic product. An Indian import, he thought. Lu Xun disagreed and pointed at a Chinese water demon instead, a river ape called Wujiki. The argument has run ever since. Against the import, no full Chinese translation of the Ramayana existed until the 20th century. For it, pieces of the Rama story were circulating anyway. In Buddhist collections, in Khotanese, in Tibetan manuscripts from Dunhuang. Nobody has ever found the document that settles it. The honest answer is unresolved. Now the real man, because he is why any of this exists. Xuanzang, born around the year 602, a monk with a technical problem. The Chinese translations of the Buddhist scriptures contradicted each other, and from inside China he could not tell which readings were right. So he went to check. To India, on foot. The Tang court refused permission, travel abroad was banned, and he left anyway in his 20s through the desert. He was gone the better part of 2 decades. Central Asia, Afghanistan, northern India, years of study at the great monastery of Nalanda. He reached the capital again in the year 645, at the head of a caravan of pack horses carrying paper. 657 Sanskrit texts, hauled overland by a man who had never been allowed to leave. The emperor who banned him now wanted a report. He dictated it to a disciple named Bianji. The Great Tang records on the western regions, around 110 countries, with distances, rulers, crops, and shrines. Archaeologists later used it as a field guide to dig up Nalanda, Sarnath, and the Ajanta caves. And in all of it, no monkey. One exhausted man, walking. So, where does the monkey come from? From the gap between that report and the people who retold it. Xuanzang came home a celebrity, and storytellers took him. The earliest printed version we still have is Song Dynasty, late 13th century. 17 short chapters, almost certainly a prompt book for street performers. Its title translates as The Story of How Tripitaka of the Great Tang Procures the Scriptures. The surviving copy sat for centuries in a Japanese temple, Kozanji. In its second chapter, a stranger joins the monk on the road, dressed as a scholar in white. Then he drops the disguise. He is the bronze-headed, iron-browed king of 84,000 monkeys. The monk names him Monkey Pilgrim. There is no pig in that book at all. He is not called Sun Wukong, but he already steals the peaches of immortality and has already been beaten and exiled for it 3 centuries early. There is stone evidence, too. A pagoda at Kaiwan Temple in Quanzhou, dated 1237, carries a monkey-headed warrior with a sword, a fillet, and a rosary. Then, in 1592, a Nanjing printing house issued a novel in 100 chapters. Xiyouji, Journey to the West, anonymous. The name on modern covers, Wu Cheng'en, was attached in the 1920s when Hu Shi and Lu Shun went digging through Ming local records. A gazetteer from his home prefecture lists a man of that name as having written something called Xiyouji. That is essentially the whole case, and it is thin. He died about a decade before the book was printed, and that title could describe an ordinary travel diary. So, attributed, not established. The book does not open on the monk. It opens on a rock, and the monk does not turn up for 8 chapters. On the mountain of flowers and fruit stands a stone that has been drinking sun and moonlight since the world was made. It splits. Out of it comes a stone egg. The wind weathers the egg, and the egg becomes a monkey, whole, with limbs and a face. The monkeys of that mountain have a dare. Find the source of the waterfall, come back alive, and be king. He goes straight through the water. Behind it is a dry cave with a stone bridge, stone beds, and cooking pots. The water curtain cave. He brings them in, and they crown him. For centuries they live extremely well. Then, at a feast, the king starts crying. Because one day, he says, the king of the dead will send for me too. That is the engine of this whole character. Not mischief. Fear of dying. Everything in the next 7 chapters comes out of that one moment. So he builds a raft and sails away to find a teacher who can stop it. It costs him years and 2 oceans. He finds him on a mountain whose name means the mind, in a cave whose name also means the mind. The book is not being subtle. The teacher is called Subhuti. He gives the monkey a surname, Sun, and a religious name, Wukong, awakened to emptiness. Then comes a choice that gets misquoted constantly. 36 heavenly transformations, or 72 earthly ones. He takes the bigger number, obviously. So, 72 transformations. A sparrow, a fish, a beetle, a temple, another man's face. He is famously bad at hiding the tail. And the cloud somersault. One tumble carries him 108,000 li. Hold on to that figure because it comes back badly. Now he wants a weapon. Nothing in his own armory survives his grip, so he walks down into the sea to the Dragon King of the East. Everything they carry out is too light. Then the Dragon Queen mentions the iron pillar in the treasury that glows, and that nobody can shift. It is a measuring rod. Yu the Great used it to set the depths of the rivers and the seas when he tamed the flood. 20 feet of black iron, thick as a barrel, until he remarks that it is a little large, and it shrinks. A gold band at each end, and an inscription. The As You Will gold-banded cudgel. Weight, 13,500 caddies. Any length he asks for, down to a needle behind his ear, and never any lighter. Then he shakes down the other 3 Dragon Kings for a wardrobe. Golden chainmail, a cap of phoenix plumes, cloud-stepping boots. All 4 file complaints. Next, the underworld comes for him. 342 years old, his allotted span used up. 2 officers drag his soul down in his sleep. He wakes in the dark, fights through to the registry, and demands the ledger. The book of life and death. He strikes out his own entry, then every monkey on the page. Heaven's solution is bureaucracy. Give him a post, put him on the register, and he will settle. The post is Bimawen, keeper of the heavenly horses. He is delighted for about a fortnight, until somebody explains the rank. There is no rank. The job sits below the bottom of the scale. He was given a stable, and the stable was the point, so he goes home and has a banner made. Great sage equal to heaven. Heaven sends an army. The army loses, so heaven does what institutions do when they cannot win. It grants the title with no duties attached. Then, to keep him busy, they put him in charge of the peach garden, which is the single worst decision anybody makes in this novel. 3,600 trees. The front row's fruit once every 3,000 years, and 1 peach makes the eater an immortal. The middle rows take twice as long and give back your youth. The back rows take 3 times as long and make you last as long as the sun. He starts at the back. Then the invitations for the peach banquet go out, and the great sage equal to heaven is not on the list. He freezes the servants, walks in early, and drinks the wine before a single guest arrives. Then, drunk, he finds Laozi's laboratory and eats the elixir pills. Then the sky falls on him. Generals, gods, the whole heavenly host. They catch him eventually, and then they cannot execute him. So Laozi seals him in the furnace of the 8 trigrams for 49 days. He finds the corner belonging to the wind. No flame there, only smoke. He waits it out. The lid comes off. He is not dead, and his eyes are red and gold. From here on he sees through any disguise. Nothing in heaven can hold him now, so heaven asks the Buddha to come. The Buddha does not fight. He asks what the monkey wants. The throne, says the monkey. Heaven has had it long enough, and it is my turn. So the Buddha offers a wager. Jump clear of my right hand, and the Jade Emperor moves out, and the throne is yours. The hand is the size of a lotus leaf. He steps into the palm and somersaults 108,000 li, out to the end of the world, where 5 flesh-colored pillars hold up the sky. He writes on the middle one, the great sage equal to heaven was here. Then, being what he is, he urinates at its base. He tumbles back to collect his throne, and the Buddha tells him to look at his hand. The writing is on the middle finger. He never left the palm. The hand closes, turns over, and comes down as a mountain. 5 fingers, 5 peaks. The mountain of 5 phases. A strip of paper goes on the summit in gold letters. Om Mani Padme Hum. The seams of the mountain close and take root. His head is left sticking out. The local earth spirit has orders. iron pellets when he is hungry, molten copper when he is thirsty. 500 years of that. Rain, snow, moss, and a monkey's head at the side of a road. Now the monk arrives, and the novel changes shape. Because in the book, Xuanzang is not primarily a scholar, he is a reincarnation. The Buddha's disciple, Golden Cicada, demoted from paradise for dozing through a sermon. This is his 10th life on earth, and the first 9 ended badly. Then Guanyin appears at a state ceremony in the Tang capital and says the scriptures of the East are the lesser vehicle. The greater one is West. The Emperor Taizong makes him a sworn brother and gives him a traveling name, xuanzang, 3 baskets, after the 3 divisions of the Buddhist canon. Guanyin supplies a brocade cassock and a 9-ringed staff and a warning. 10 lifetimes of pure practice have made his flesh valuable to every demon on that road. 2 days out from the capital, he passes a mountain by the road, and a voice comes up out of the rock. Master. He climbs, peels off the paper seal, and steps back. The mountain comes apart, and a monkey with moss in his fur climbs out of 500 years. Guanyin, who does not trust this arrangement at all, sends insurance. A cap, a robe, a spell. The monkey puts the cap on because it is shiny. The band roots into his skull and will not come off. And here is a precision worth having, because the retellings all get it slightly wrong. They call it the golden headband. In the novel, Guanyin holds 3 fillets, and this is the tightening one. The golden one goes to somebody else entirely. The spell is called the true words for controlling the mind. What finally stops the strongest creature alive is a headache, operated by a man who cannot fight. At a stream under Serpent Coil Mountain, a white dragon comes up and eats the horse, whole, saddle and all. He is the 3rd son of the Dragon King of the West Sea, condemned for burning a pearl, reprieved by Guanyin. He becomes the horse, a prince doing penance. At Gao village there is a monster son-in-law. He works the fields, he is enormously strong, and he eats the profits. He was Marshal Tianping, commander of 80,000 of heaven's naval troops. Drunk at a banquet, he propositioned the goddess of the moon. Exiled, he fell into the wrong womb and came out a pig. Guanyin names him Wuning. The monk names him Baje. 8 restraints. It is a list of things a monk must not eat, attached permanently as a name to a pig. He carries a 9-toothed rake and wants to go home. The last recruit is standing in a river of quicksand. He was the curtain, lifting general, and he broke a crystal vessel at the peach banquet. Around his neck he wears 9 skulls on a cord. They floated when the rest of the bones sank. They are pilgrims who tried this road before him. In the novel, they are the monk's own earlier lives, worn as a necklace by the demon who ate them. Now he carries the luggage and never complains. So look at the party. A stone monkey, a demoted marshal in a pig's body, a broken crockery exile, and a condemned dragon carrying a man on his 10th attempt. Ahead of them, 81 calamities, counted and recorded in heaven, because that is 9 times 9, and the number has to come out exactly. The most famous of them is not a fight. It is chapter 27, and it is about eyesight. A skeleton spirit called Bai Gujing wants the monk. She cannot get past the monkey, so she does not try force. She comes as a village girl with a basket of food. He sees bone under skin and kills her. She comes back as the girl's elderly mother, looking for her daughter. He kills her too. The monk is now certain he is traveling with a murderer. She comes a 3rd time as the old man, looking for his wife and his daughter. The monkey kills him, and the corpse falls apart into a pile of bones, which should settle it. Instead, the pig suggests the skeleton was faked to dodge punishment. The monk believes the pig and dismisses the only one who could see. Further west, a country with no men in it. None, not one in the whole kingdom, and no memory of any. The women drink from a river to conceive. It has worked for generations. Then the monk and the pig drink from that river, and within an hour both of them are pregnant, and both expect to die of it. Then the queen reads their travel papers and makes an offer. Stay, marry me, take the throne. It is the only trap in the book that is not a trap. Then the road stops at a wall of fire. 800 li of burning mountain, and nothing crosses it. Not a bird, not a cart. And this one is his fault. When he came out of the furnace, he kicked it over, and some of the bricks came down still burning. They landed here. One thing puts it out. A palm leaf fan, and it belongs to a woman called Princess Iron Fan. One wave, and the fire dies for a year. She will not lend it. Her son is Red Boy, and the monkey is why the boy now serves a bodhisattva instead of living at home. So he becomes an insect in her tea and moves around inside her until she hands it over. It is a forgery. Her husband, the bull demon king, takes the real one. 14 years of that. Kingdoms, ogres, a river that freezes, a spider cave, and a false monkey that nobody in heaven can tell from the real one. And then the road ends. Vulture Peak. They wash and climb and are shown in, and the Buddha grants the scriptures. The two attendants take them into the library, and then the attendants ask what present the pilgrims have brought. The monkey says he will report them. The scrolls are handed over anyway. Then, on the road down, a wind takes one off the pack. They open it. There is nothing written inside. Back up the mountain, with the monkey shouting, and the Buddha, who arranged all of this, laughs and tells him the blank scrolls are the true scriptures. Wordless, and better for it. The trouble is only that the people back east could not read them. And then, in the same breath, a complaint about money. Monks once recited these texts for a rich household and were paid in gold, and the Buddha's view is that the fee was far too low. Scriptures are not to be given away, so the monk hands over the purple gold begging bowl his emperor gave him, and words appear on the pages. That is the ending most retellings quietly drop. The sacred books have a price, and the price is the last object the pilgrim owns. One thing left. Guan Yin reads back the record of the journey, counts the calamities, and comes up one short of the required number. So the guardians carrying them home drop them out of the sky onto the bank of a river they have crossed before. An old white turtle ferries them. Halfway over he asks the question he asked years ago. Did you ask the Buddha how long until I become a man? They forgot. So he dives. They drag the scrolls out and dry them on rocks in the sun. Some of the ends have stuck fast and tear away when they lift them. And that, says the novel, is why one sutra is incomplete to this day, and why there is still writing on those rocks. The damage is the last calamity. Back at Vulture Peak they are promoted. The monk becomes the Buddha of Kendana merit. The monkey who wanted heaven's throne becomes the victorious fighting Buddha. The pig complains that the others got Buddhahood and he got a job title. Cleanser of the altars. Permanent, official, unlimited access to the leftovers. And the monkey asks for the band to be taken off his head. He is told to feel for it. It went the moment he stopped needing it. So keep the 3 layers apart. A monk who walked to India and wrote down the roads. A novel, centuries later, that put a monkey beside him. And a cult, because people did start worshipping him. Temples to the great sage equal to heaven, with a birthday in the second lunar month. And the scholar who studied those temples concluded something uncomfortable. The god as he is worshipped cannot be separated from the novelist's version of him, which makes the author of that book less a man who wrote down a god, and more a man who made one and then lost him.